Laurie was crunching. She's munching away. Hey, everybody, we're back. Welcome back. We're so excited to have you back. And listen, we want to introduce you. Laurie and I have a true love in our lives. And she is an amazing, amazing friend. And I love you so much. Tanya Keats is here with us. She's a business owner, a speaker, integration guide, a leadership coach who supports those who are experiencing major life transition. She guides her clients towards a free life lived with ease by helping them break through the mental blocks that hold them back. She's best known for assisting people on their journey to become whole and helping them navigate major life transitions without losing themselves. Please, everybody, welcome Tanya Keats.
Yay! I'm clapping.
Everybody else is clapping too. And Miss Jamie Jones, welcome.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the bell. I just wrote to her, on the break. I said, we're on. Where are you? Jamie, thank you for joining us at last.
So good.
Okay, Tanya, it's great to have you here. And tell us a little bit about expansion, or like what we were talking about. If there's, let's bridge you with our subject today.
Oh my goodness. I love listening to you guys as far as the chakras. First of all, huge fans. Some of my best time is being able to hang out with you. I don't care if it's via Zoom or in person. I just so adore you guys. So thanks. It's just a privilege to be able to hang with you today. As far as listening, right? You guys were talking about all the chakras, and I'm thinking, oh my God, that's like coaching. Right? Coaching, you pick a chakra and there's like a coaching possibility and a coaching issue. And you guys all do this coaching too. And I'm like, all you have to do is just scan your body, feel up and down, above and below, and you've got a coaching opportunity. It just does, you just don't know how it's going to all come up. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. Let's, can you, I don't know if you can or not. I mean, it didn't occur to me until, recently, and it came from Brianna, who all four of us know, and many of the people on who are with us, who are guests today, know Brianna. The distinction between coaching and therapy.
Oh,
you got anything on that?
Yeah. Do you want the blunt version?
Yes, please.
Yeah, let's have the blunt version.
Blunt version, like, right? No holds bars.
Straight,
version.
no chaser.
Yeah.
Right. It's the, right. For me, if you want to go in the past, you want to hear about the whys, you want to hear about how did this all become, that's great. If you're interested in here and now and action, let's go. Let's go here and now. Right. Let's go on. So that's like the super short, very blunt version of, that's kind of my distinguishing factor. Do they go hand in hand? Yes. Can they be super helpful? Absolutely. Can you do one without the other to get you someplace and decide to maybe go into the other? Absolutely. I'm not saying it's an either or. I'm just saying that there's usually a different perspective. And then there's some people who have the skills of, shrinking and coaching. And those are like a beautiful blend.
Shrinking and coaching. I've never heard it said that way before.
Coaching. I love that. That sounds like I'm very into songs today. Shrinking and coaching.
Or sexual, right? I don't know.
Well, here's what I want to know. I've got a question. What is your background? What is your background that actually led you to become a coach?
I remember actually.
You do?
I do. I was with you. We were having lunch and you told me I'm leaving my comfort zone.
Absolutely.
And I'm becoming a coach. We had lunch that day.
I remember. I started off as a hairdresser working through college. It was great. It was wonderful. It was a means to an end to work through traditional college. When I finished, I had, what was my degree? Management information systems, went and got my master's. But during all that time, I spent quite a bit of time. I did quite a bit of time in corporate America. And for various different organizations, various different industries, doing process improvement, doing efficiency, program management, right? So very business, very corporate. And that's when I first met y'all, right? I was in corporate America. And yeah, I loved it. It was great. I was able to work with my teams. My teams often said I did something a little bit differently. And so you keep hearing something often enough. I says, well, what does that mean? What do you mean about that? And they're like, well, you don't harp on us about the numbers, because we know there's time and there's budget and there's right goals, and right measurement is a great thing. So there was plenty of numbers to harp on them on, but they said, you don't do that. And I said, well, why would I? It's not like you're conspiracy theorists or something trying to bring the company down. We've got amazing people who are all from various different parts of the organization. Why aren't we coming together and trying to find out what's not working, as opposed to be doing this? And so that was the culture of my teams. And I guess it wasn't the culture of every team that they were in. And it was great. By no means was corporate America dreadful at all. And so, but I wanted more. So I got out of corporate America. I started a relocation company. Quickly realized that was not the industry for me. And as I was in the process of selling it, I asked myself a question that I'd asked several times before, but this time the answer was like super, super crystal clear. And that was, the question was, what do I love to do? And the crystal clear answer was, I love watching people shine. Now, it wasn't very helpful answer, because it's not like I want to be a teacher. So I'm like, great universe, I have this. What do I do with it? So I'm telling a friend this, and they're like, well, that's coaching, Tanya. I'm like, what? And they're like, that's coaching. They gave me some reputable organizations. I did my research, and I'm watching it, and I'm doing my research, and I see it, and I'm like, damn, they might actually be onto something here. So I signed up, went to training, and I was in training, and I said, this is what I've been doing my entire life. This is what my teams quite couldn't put their thumb on what I did differently. I didn't manage my teams, I coached my teams, and I've been doing this for years and years and years. Now I just have some different tools, some different skill sets, some different intentions. And I came home and Keats Coaching was started.
That's awesome.
Long answer. Sorry, Michael.
No, well, it makes for great content, actually. It's a great answer. I mean, when you're going through life and you're feeling like, you're in a place and what you're doing works in a certain situation, and then you discover that what that was that you were doing that worked so well actually is something that works well in another context, which of course is what you did. I found myself in a little bit of a different situation. I was a network engineer. I was a guy that was really good with numbers. I was really good with systems and understanding how things integrate, how things connect, how things route and switch, and all the other things. And then I started to see that, wow, the human body's like that. Wow, relationships can be like that. Wow. So I became a sex coach.
Except that human beings are unpredictable.
True
and
that.
Systems are somewhat predictable.
Well, and there are protocols, which is really strange. I mean, this is something that I'll have to flesh out, and I don't want to do that here. But there are protocols. There really are protocols that are required for communication from one medium to the next. And so that's so fascinating.
Like there isn't in relationships, Michael?
Yes, there is.
Really?
Yes. There is.
The more protocols and agreements you can put into place to like shoot from the hip as opposed to fishing, it's like
Right.
beautiful, so transferable.
Totally. Well, all right. So tell us what you do. What do you do?
I work with people who are in transition, and it could be businesses, it could be individuals, it could be groups. I help them find ease and joy and to be able to live in a peaceful way. I offer 3 services. The first one is traditional coaching, right? Preparing somebody to do something for themselves, to have the difficult conversation, to give a presentation, to build on their emotional intelligence, their communication, relationships, connecting. It's a traditional coaching. The second thing is speaking. I do speaking engagements. They're all very collaborative and customized. Those who refer me will say, give Tanya a topic and then just let her go. And if you like what she has to say, then you can hire her and you can say, I want you for 15 minutes to come into my meeting and talk about this, or I want you for all day long to do something. And we customize it on how interactive you want it to be. And it's a very collaborative, fun, customized process. It can be like corporations, it can be retreats, even though they're still having retreats in corporations. It can be for a school, a homeowners association, right? It doesn't really matter what that looks like. I'll go in and have a conversation anywhere, and the duration can be all over the place. The third is an integration guide. And I just kind of made it up. And
I'm like, what's that?
An integration guide. And it came out really organically working with my clients. My clients kept saying they wanted to go do stuff. I'm like, well, go do stuff. And they're like, well, I want to do it for myself. I'm like, well, ask your friends and family. And there's like, and there's usually 3 reasons they didn't want to ask their friends and family. The first reason is they didn't want to be judged. Whatever they wanted to do, they didn't want to be judged.
Yeah.
Second reason is that they wanted to make their own decisions. And as much as friends and family are trying to be helpful, they often don't come from a place of curiosity and possibilities. They usually have a lot of advice, and they're even better at being attached to the advice. And if you don't implement it exactly how they said it would be. So now you've got drama, dynamics, and you got crazy stuff going on.
Can I just tell you that Michael is living through this as you're saying it? Like he lived through this more closely than I did. So you're saying this, and I could see his face. He's like, "Yep."
Yeah, I've got kids.
Was that a hallelujah, Michael?
I've got kids. I'm the family member. I'm the reason the kids don't want to talk to me. They want to talk to you. They're like, fuck Dad. He's crazy. He's going to get all attached to his ideas. Well, I know they work. Well, never mind.
Send them over, Michael. Send them over.
You got it. You got it.
The third reason people generally don't want to talk to friends and family is that they want to have their own experience. And this often comes across as, you don't have to do that, right? We could leave at any point in time. Or, are you okay? Are you sure okay? Are you doing all right? Is everything good? Right? It's this hovering effect that I kept hearing from my clients. And they're like, who's supposed to be supporting who? Who's holding space for you? Who? You're supposed to be supporting me, but yet it's easier just not to have you around. So people don't do things.
Yeah.
And for me, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to guide somebody into that unknown, into that scary, something new, things that they've never done before. Because years and years and years ago, I decided to do something different once a month that I've never done before. And the reason I decided to do that was because I wanted to be a better person a month from now than I was today. And in order for that to happen, I needed to grow. And I was reading books and I was taking classes, and this was way before webinars, right? Way before webinars. And I wanted more, and I wanted it faster. And so now almost daily, something new shows up in my life and I say yes to it. I say yes to a lot of things. A lot of things I'm not even sure what I said yes to. And I'm grateful for it. And I've learned so much. And why it's such a pleasure for me to help and guide people into this space is I'm really comfortable there. And 2, I often see that there is greater growth with doing stuff along with the coaching, and it's integrated and it lasts. And right, I met you guys, the first time I met each of you was at something I didn't know what the hell I was getting into. I say yes. And what I've learned about saying yes is that there's 2 things. You need to know what to wear and you have to show up. And that's like 80-90% of the gig.
That's it. What to wear and then show, where is it?
No, what to wear, what clothing, right? Or no clothing. I mean, that was like a big deal. Like the naked yoga. I'm like, what do you wear to naked yoga? I have no idea. Anyway.
Do you have to wear
How
tennis
are we
shoes?
going to take our clothes off? I don't know. I did learn, the one big thing I did learn at Naked Yoga was do not put coconut oil on, because now I'm sitting there on the mat and you're butt naked, and now I've got coconut oil on the mat and I'm doing something, and my toes are gripping that mat for the love of God, just so I don't slip on the coconut oil that came off my body. It was like extreme yoga naked. It was awesome.
Face plant. Yikes.
That's great.
That's hilarious.
And yes, I remember those experiences well. So
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
really great.
They were
really
fantastic.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well-
that's what I do. Another long answer, Michael. Sorry.
What are you talking about? Don't say sorry. Never say sorry. Well, unless you really
Don't say sorry for that.
Yeah, no
No.
way. Well, listen, I mean, I really enjoy. First of all, I love your energy. I always have. You're one of the people we've had some very deep experiences in the context of ISTA and some of the things that we've done together, and I love your friendship. And every time we get together, it's the three of us. And the last time I think we got together was before the last time was at Laurie's birthday party, where we danced and played and sat by the fire and hung out and did all the things. And you're just a joy to be around. I mean, really,
thanks.
you're a lot of fun to be around.
Yes.
And Laurie loves you too.
It's okay if you're more expressive. I mean, you can be more expressive right now.
Thank you.
It's good for you. It's wonderful.
Hey, honey,
It's good for Tanya.
do you have any questions for Tanya?
Well, I actually have something I want to say, which isn't a question. It's like
Okay.
what Tanya just described for her own life when she said that once a month she did something new was expansion. Like you are an expansion being. Like you do stuff. You do definitely things off the beaten path. You do things totally different. And so I feel like the topic today, expansion, was the perfect topic for you, because that by saying, oh, I'm going to do naked yoga, I'm going to do ISTA, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do, like when I think about you, I think about you riding a motorcycle. I don't know that many motorcycle mamas. Really, I don't.
All right.
Our friend, Liz. Liz, I think Liz Alameda. Liz has just learned motorcycle so that she could ride together with Erminio. She's been with us on the show before, and she's also with us at Extraordinary Lovers. But I don't know. I just don't know that many women who ride. Oh, my dear friend Marilyn in Florida.
Oh yeah, Marilyn
She's had a
DiMartini.
motorcycle for forever.
Yeah.
But I mean, basically, when I met you and you took off from the workshop, bzz, on your motorcycle, I was like, okay, this woman is different. Yeah.
Indeed.
So I didn't know about all these other things. I didn't even know that maybe I don't remember that you set that up once a month to do things, but I know that I've witnessed some of the things. And so
Yeah.
I just feel like that's expansion, like on wheels.
Yeah.
And that's, if people would challenge themselves to do different things, they'd be happier. They'd be more engaged with life. They'd be more joyous about their day-to-day living. There's no absence of that in you. Talking to you is like talking to joy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot. There's a lot of really great stuff. You were talking about technology and stuff, and it's like, oh, don't even get me on computers. I got a new computer this week, and it was like, right? It was like emotional releasing like crazy. And trust me, I did not do no silent nothing. It was full-fledged, very colorful
Language.
releasing.
Yes.
Very colorful releasing. And but so I'm sitting there, and also there's these hormones that happen to be going on that I'm having this really interesting challenge with. And so at the end of a really, really rough day with this computer, I thought, oh, you didn't break down in a blubbering cry. Nobody had to put you in a straitjacket. I was functional. I'm like, there was goodness. The hormones are in control today. You're in control of yourself. They have not back to you. You were able to do emotional release and be logical and rational and emotional all at the same time within control. So yeah, it was a rough day with technology and frustration, but yeah, there was like joy of, oh yeah, we got this.
I love it.
Awesome.
So good.
I love that.
And Michael, I mean, I see, you know, like when you're talking to Tanya, you're in joy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
You know, you're in joy. So
she's a lot of fun to hang out with.
I know.
Here's something that I want to know, and I'm really curious because I've heard that you've done at least a couple of things that you know, read books, naked yoga. What else? What are some of the other things that you took on that you did, that you learned or did once a month that was something you'd never done before?
Skydiving. Drove a NASCAR. Went drag racing, horseback riding, parasailing or paragliding. Traveled all over the place. So here's some of the more interesting. The most difficult challenge that I've had was I've never chewed before. And I had somebody in my life, like, right, the big old pouch, you stick that unhealthy stuff in your lip. And I'm like, someone goes, and I'm like, I've never chewed. I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, I've never done that. And they're like, do you want to? I'm like, I don't think so, but yeah.
You mean chewing tobacco?
Chewing tobacco. That's crazy.
And I'm like, yes, but no. And so it was like, okay, next time we get together, it was just two people in a house, and it was like, that was it. It was like, this is what we're going to do. I learned the history of tobacco, like long, short, right? That you flip your finger, which my finger doesn't flop very well, to help pack it down, right? That you get a cup and you put a tissue in it so you don't spit back up on yourself. I mean, right, I'm going through all this, and
you learned all that.
I'm telling you, that was it was the hardest thing I have ever done. I'm sitting there with this wad in my lip and like, what do I do now? Whoa. It was horrible, but I understood the high, right? It was like this instant weird. And I had the worst case of don't give a shit. I almost wet myself because I didn't want to get up and go to the bathroom. I had super light sensitivity. It was super fast. It hit hard. And I'm like, oh, I don't like this at all. It was horrible. And I'm like, I can't believe it was a one and done. Not going to do it again.
I don't blame you for one moment. I'm like.
But the saddest and the most joyful and yet saddest was I went to a piano recital for a child. I didn't know the child, but somebody I knew said that they were going to go to a piano recital, a kid's piano recital. I've never done that. I said, would it be creepy if I joined you? And they're like, no, not at all. So it was a really intimate setting. It was in a house, and way before COVID, years before COVID, it was intimate, private. And so you knew everybody who was there except the weird stranger hanging out with people, watching kids. And it was so sad because there would be a child up there playing, and you could see the nervousness, and you could see the joy, and you could see the pride. And I had no clue who in the audience was associated with that child. They were on their phones. They were disengaged. They were physically there, but they were not there at all. Oh, and I have tears running down because I'm seeing this beauty of this experience this child is having. And the people who apparently love them the most, who are there supporting them, it just broke my heart, right? And the person that I went with, they're like, what's going on? I'm like, this is the saddest, happiest thing I've ever seen. This was before hormones, so it was not related to that at all.
Okay.
But it was just one of those, right, little joys. So it's all over the board as far as what have I done, what haven't I done. It's That's all awesome. Over.
Well, I'm inspired now. I want to go and do something I've never done before.
That's great.
You know, I'm doing that right now.
Yeah,
that's right. You are.
I've never been.
You're going through COVID.
I've never been.
We're doing something that most people have never done before, and that's have a TV show.
Well, we're doing a TV show. So the first thing is Laurie and I usually have our own set. We have a set up, and this is very different than what we normally do. So that's the first thing we're doing. And the other thing is, I'm sitting here, got a fever. I'm playing it off.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, like some people joined us.
Yeah.
Jamie just joined us when Tanya came on. and she doesn't even know that you're sick, and you have a green screen over there, and that you're sick, and that's why we're in separate rooms, because I'm not going near you.
That's right.
when I think you might have COVID.
I can't even get within 6 feet of her, and I have to wear a mask. I mean, like,
Show us your mask.
my mask.
Sexy, Michael. Sexy.
It's
Oh.
like having it's like a little pair of black panties.
I know. I was gonna say, is that like duplicate as your G-string?
That's hot. That's hot. I would wear a pair of your panties on my face, honey. Anytime. You loan them to me, I'll put them on.
I don't hardly have any.
I know.
Oh God. I was gonna say, when was the last time I wore panties?
I hate panties.
I don't think I've ever worn panties. I think I would, but on my face.
My theory on panties is nobody's ass looks that good to have panty lines in it.
I agree.
Gotta love it. Yeah. Oh, I have been labeled the masked man.
By somebody listening, by somebody with us.
Yeah, and we just got a new follow. Thank you, Dr. Belove. Belove. Thank you, Dr. Belove. I hope I said that right.
Love.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't know.
I like that. That's what I talked about the whole first part of the show. All you need is love.
That's right. We even played Imagine. We played Imagine earlier.
We played Imagine. We talked about, I gave a little tribute to John Lennon and Yoko Ono, and how they really were tantric, whether they knew it or not. I know it. So really good. It's really, really good.
Well, go ahead, Laurie.
Oh, I want to know from people in the chat if they have any questions for Tanya and any questions for us, just based on expansion, like what would it take? My question to everyone, and for some of you, it would be one word that you could type in the chat. What would it take for you to expand?
Yeah.
What would it take? For some people, it actually took COVID to expand. I mean, like they were forced into expansion. Like people who never used their computers for this before. But what would it take for you to expand? And see if anybody writes to you, Michael.
Well, I have some challenges for him, Laurie.
Yeah.
Right? We do very similar things, right? There's expanding by doing coaching services, which we all do, right? What you guys do with Extraordinary Lovers, I can't wait. When I get a person, I am so signing up for that. Talk about expansion and doing something that you may have not have done before, going into the crazy, scary, unknown to be a better human, right? Extraordinary Lovers is like right up the alley. It's the chakras. We do such similar things on how to be a sovereign person. How do we not be attached to our shit or anybody else's shit? And those are some basic things that we all do.
Yeah.
Do you think you could be dating someone by? Can you be dating someone by next weekend? We have Extraordinary Lovers experience for Valentine's weekend.
Weekend.
I recommend it to people. I'm like, hey, here you go. Right here's something that's awesome and great. And I would do it, but I'm a solo at this point. So I'm like, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
But I'm telling duplicates because I think it's a great thing.
And
it's great.
We used to have it opened up to singles, and the difficulty with that is really just the experience of it. We call it the Extraordinary Lovers experience because that's really what it is. You're going to experience what it is to move through the 3 thresholds of love: self-love, love of a partner, and then love that manifests. So, and it really does take someone to be with, but it doesn't have to be like your partner. It can just be a person that you can do exercises with. So think about that.
Oh, it can just be another person?
Yes, absolutely.
How much of these exercises are like super sexual?
Well, actually, none of them are super sexual until we get to love that manifests. And then that's really just a conversation. So the exercises.
You can do that. In the first 2 classes that we did, we had 2 iterations of that. Mm-hmm. The people who were couples, we had them work together. And the people who were singles, they did they did the exercises alone, because we can do love that manifests as a single or love that manifests as a couple.
Yes.
So
So I've taken your classes before, and your classes, you do these exercises right there in person. Are people doing these exercises on camera, or are they doing them off camera and then they come back on camera?
You know, for the most part, they're doing them on camera, and
Nice.
and many of these exercises are led. So we're either myself or Laurie is leading the exercise. The exercise that we do that has to do with manifesting whatever it is you want in life, that can be done off camera, and it should be done over and over and over again, week after week, month after month. That's something that I think, if you're not manifesting in your life regularly with as much power as you have in your own sexuality, come on.
And I'm just going to clarify, Michael, when you say manifesting, you do mean orgasming, right?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Okay, just clarifying.
Use your sexual energy. Laurie and I
Of
spoke
course.
about that today. She spoke about it in detail. Yeah.
a woman once called me up asking me if she said she wanted to sign up for a class I was doing in sex magic. And she said, do I have to have an orgasm? And I said, yeah, that's
The fuel.
like the thing.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, no, never mind. I'm not.
Well, tell the rest.
said-
Yeah.
She said, I'm done with that in my life. I'm not doing that anymore. And I said to her, excuse me, do you mind if I ask your age? And, she said she was like 61 or something. And I said, and you don't want to have any more orgasms in your life? And she said, no, I'm finished with that. I'm done. And I said to her, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for you. I said,
Oh,
would
wow.
you, are you open to reconsidering? And she said, no, absolutely not. And I said, you cannot be part of my class. You don't have to have it in front of people, but you do have to have it
Yeah.
as part of the mechanics of this course. And she was like, no, that's not for me.
Well, this is a
It was
topic.
so wild. She called for that class,
Yeah.
you have to have an orgasm for that. That's part of the MO. That's part of the thing that you do. Anyway, it was weird. I felt so bad for her, but I feel like there's tons of people who are like that.
Of course.
I feel like that
You wrote
way
a book.
more than who are on this, than who are
So
on
sad.
Extraordinary Lovers TV.
She wrote a book. She wrote a book called Sex and Happiness After 60. It only gets better.
I'm writing.
Well, you're pretty close to publishing. That manuscript is so close to being done. But yeah, it's getting close to being published. So,
Are you telling me that manuscript is like an ooh or an ah away, Michael? Is that what you're telling me?
I think what has to happen is
I love you, Tanya. You are the
Laurie needs to move some of that sexual energy.
I can.
I wish I could
can't
help.
by myself.
I wish I could help.
But my partner is indisposed.
Oh, sad.
My partner lives right now in a green screen.
Yeah. Separate rooms. So sad.
Do you have a hole in the door where
Yeah.
she slips food in?
No.
He's so smart. You know how smart he is? He's such a geek. He put he texts me. He says, "Honey, I don't feel well. I'm at the eye doctor," and I'm going, "Oh no, I'm supposed to have eye surgery next week. I can't believe you're sick. This could get in the way of my surgery." I'm thinking only about myself because I'm at the doctor. And then I come home and he's nowhere to be found. He's totally sequestered in his room. And then there's one of those TV tables outside his room, and I'm going that's interesting. I wonder why this is here. No clue.
Yeah.
I don't think, I don't think the way he thinks. I have no clue. There's a table out there. And the table doesn't belong there. It's not part of the furniture. And then he texts me and he goes, "Honey, I put a table outside with wipes on it so that you could put a pitcher of water, some vitamins, maybe some Tylenol, some other stuff on the table so that you never have to touch me or see me. You just put them on the table. It's like being in prison, when they open the little trap door and they put the."
So she knocks on the door. Your
So I
stuff's
knock on the
ready.
door and I go, "Your vitamins are out here now."
Yeah.
And then I run
She
away.
runs away.
And then I see when he's taken them, and I see when he's got the more water. I see when he needs more water. I see when he needs ice. I see whatever he needs.
Yeah.
Um,
She's
and
amazing. I want everybody to know right now, Laurie is amazing. She could have been like a nurse in a whole another life. She takes such good care of me, and she loves me so much, and it's obvious. I love you, Laurie. Thank you so much for that.
thank you, Michael. I love you so much too, and I would never be a nurse.
I know. No, not.
Chrissy,
It would be a
Chrissy, no
waste of real
insult to your
skills.
former profession. Chrissy was a traveling nurse before
Yeah,
COVID.
she was.
And she has because of some autoimmune within her, COVID just like put her right out of her business, and she found us and we found her.
Yeah.
And Chrissy is one of our virtual assistants, plus she's the producer of this show.
Yeah.
Chrissy's got a whole new career.
She's amazing.
This is better than sick people, isn't it, Chrissy?
Chrissy, we're well people.
Well, listen, we've got some people that have shared some things, and I want to go back here. Casey, thank you so much for sharing. Expanding, Casey says, expanding is easy when you have someone who's completely supportive of you and they inspire you to be more than who you are. Yes, that's true. And expanding is not always easy, even if you have someone in your life. So expanding can be really, really stretching. It can cause conflict. It actually pushes things out and can cause a lot of friction in your life. And that's okay. That's part of it. But you're absolutely right. It is easier when someone, and it's important to acknowledge the person who is there with you when it's not so great. Because your expansion could cause some pushing away of another person.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's really true. Sometimes people grow at different rates at different times.
And then
It makes me
go ahead. Go ahead.
It makes me think of transition. One of the things I work with people on transition, it's not just about getting in or out of a relationship or marriages or children coming in and out or job changes and death and all of these new things that can be happening. Transitions really, which is very similar to expansion, is any time that there's a shift or a change or that you're growing, there's an expansion. You're growing or shrinking, there's an expansion on that. And yeah, it's great to have the support and being able to do it with, what is it people don't want their family for? No judgment, make their own decisions, have their own experience, and a trusted knowing someone's got your back.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it does help, man. I got to tell you, I feel for you when anytime you have somebody that's opposing you, when you're expanding, it can be very difficult and oftentimes can actually take you out. Please don't let it. Please don't. If you need support,
tell them thank you for sharing, mind their own business.
If you need support from somewhere else, I know this really amazing coach who could help you expand in all those ways, and I think you know her as well. So, yeah. Well, listen, what's your secret sauce, girl? What makes it?
I just want to say that we're kind of winding down.
We've got
too,
5 more minutes, so I want to ask this last
Yeah.
question. What's your secret sauce? Tell me what the secret is.
I think it's that I listen to not just what you're saying, but what you're not saying. There's that. But I've had clients who have said that I'm not just talking. And I think we all know coaches and people who may talk a good talk, but they don't walk any of it. And I think that's one reason I so gravitate towards you guys is this is exactly who you are. You guys live, eat, and breathe this. This isn't just something that you blah, blah, blah about. This is who you are. And I've had clients say you're completely it. This is what you do. So I think those are some of the things that maybe I care. I truly care about what's going on. I can be there. I cannot get wrapped up in it and see it from a really objective space. So
I like it.
That's super, super great.
Well, all right. So how do we get in touch with you?
Compliment too.
Yeah.
We do. We do walk the talk.
How do
And
people
you,
get in contact with you?
Website, keatscoaching.com, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. Gosh, what is the other one? I want to say there's something else. Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook. Give me a call, 480-937-0876. I still don't have it memorized. Yeah, that's kind of it. I don't call myself. And if I do, I just say Keats Coaching and I push that button. Yeah. So my gosh, you guys are such a delight. Like I said, anytime I get to hang out with you guys, I don't care what it is. I'll come to a funeral with you and I will still have a magnificent time. You guys just completely fill my cup. I'm grateful.
We
thank
love
you
you
so
too.
much.
Thank you so much. You really are amazing, and we appreciate you. I've got a couple things that I want to share from the chat. One of them, Miss Jamie Jones, she says, my motto is explore, experiment, experience, expand. However, COVID-19 brought me more expansion and growth on a soul and spirit level realm, which of course hit my mind, body, full circle sort of thing. And then reconnecting with Tantra, practice and living on a deeper level, and orgasmic living for all. Thank you for sharing all of those things.
Beautiful.
Wow. Yes and yes. And Casey said, do you have a LinkedIn?
Yes.
Yes. Looks like it's right there. Yeah. It's actually our producer, Chrissy, put it in the chat. So there you go.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Former nurse Chrissy,
Yeah.
gone producer.
All right.
Thanks, Chrissy. Hey, I have an announcement to make, Michael. So I just want to.
Go
We
for it.
didn't announce this, but I think we should.
Please do.
If I may change for a minute. Those of you who've been with us week after week, like I know Careza was here and Chris was here, we canceled our Roatan, Honduras trip. And I feel like we need to tell our watchers and our listeners that, because people got afraid that they were going to be tested. Well, they're going to be tested in another country, and that they were going to have to stay there. Like they'd have to stay a quarantine in Honduras. And so they started to unregister from the course. So we pulled the plug. So I want people to know that we had this gorgeous commercial that we played a lot. Some of you have seen it many times. And I just want to let you know the status of that. So if you know this is even why it's more important, if you know anyone who's free on Valentine's Day weekend, the 13th and 14th, and want to join us in Extraordinary Lovers, this is it, because we're not going to Honduras.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
So this is a time to bring a partner, bring another person that you can interact with closely, and be with us. And we can even do it with people who are long distance. Put them in a breakout room.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to let people know that.
Thank you, Laurie. Appreciate that.
You're welcome, Michael.
All right. Well, we appreciate you so much, Tanya, for being with us today and for hanging out and sharing what it is that you do and really just brightening our lives. I'm going to go and drink some more of that vitamin C stuff that Laurie made for me. And Laurie's probably going to go back to work.
Oh, Michael, take care. My goodness, your thought. I will definitely have healing and cooling thoughts. I can just picture you being like, what is it? Madonna, not Madonna, but Marilyn Monroe with the skirt. You've got a complete back in your computer geeked out days. I can just see you in that computer room, all sexy in your dress.
Oh, you're so adorable. I love it. Yes, that's right. And I'm the man with the mask. By the way, B, Laurie, it's Dr. B who has joined us. I think you know B.
You do? Oh, Dr. B from Dr. She's a veterinarian.
All right.
Is that the B that I know? Is that
in
who?
New York?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you all, I think you all know her too. You two know her also. Chrissy doesn't, but you know her too. She was right here in Arizona with us.
Okay.
In Oracle. Yes. And she,
okay. All right. I think
yes,
I do.
you know her
Yes.
too. And
Hi,
she
Dr.
was
B.
teaching me kitty cat like kitty cat kisses, kitty cat snuggles when we were all together in Arizona. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We love you, every one of you. We will see you next week, same time, between, it's now 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Eastern time. And you figure out the rest of the country. But we'd love to see you next week. Please join us. Bring a friend. We've got lots to talk about, and we're here to answer your questions and also share with you some of the loves in our lives, people that we really feel make a difference to the world. And Tanya, you're definitely one of those people. So thank you so much for being with us, everybody.
For sure.
We will see you next time. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.